Hi, everyone. This is another episode of the Holy Misfits podcast. This one is a continuation of last time. Last time we talked about mental health and our personal stories with that, but this time we're going to go into a little bit about mental health within the church and what that looks like or what it doesn't look like. So, yeah. My name is Jess,
I'm Alex.
and this is the podcast. So my personal background with it, as I've said before, I was Pentecostal, and with that, it was a lot of the focus was on healings. And if you didn't have a healing, or if you weren't like without an ailment or without issue mentally or emotionally, it was looked at as a like multiple ways. Like they either demonized you, or it was like you don't have enough faith, and it was all these negative things at you. And it was something that I didn't notice till later on after I had a breather from that I was like, wow, that really did not do great things for my mental health. It made me just feel like I was the problem all the time, when in reality, like maybe you're not meant to like be magically healed. Maybe you're meant to go through something. Maybe there's lessons in that, and you're meant to learn them, and that's not a bad thing, even if it's uncomfortable. And so that's something that I experienced. I don't know about what you experience.
I don't really have much personal experience with like mental health in the church. It's always been something that when I was growing up, I grew up in a small town, small logging community, and so mental health was like something that was like you knew about it, but you didn't talk about it. That's kind of
It's
what it
not
was.
great.
No, and so it was kind of the same rules in the church. Kind of growing up when I was a kid, like it was there, but no one really talked about it. So it wasn't until later in life, probably like out of college or out of high school and then going into college, I really started to pick up on the cues of it because it was like something that wasn't like swept under the rug anymore. And so that's when I started actually paying attention to like depression and the in the church, and that's also kind of when my own depression started kind of flaring.
Yeah.
So it's probably why it became more prevalent in my own life. So
Yeah, you kind of had your own mental breakdown thing, so you can't really ignore it at that point.
yeah, and I don't know if it was so much just ignoring it. I think it was something where it just wasn't prevalent. Like it wasn't
Yeah.
something that was like in my face enough or something that was even on my radar. And like most of the people who I knew who had mental health issues were people who were like outside of the church or different things like that. It wasn't so much of it in the church. And I think part of that comes from like a shame culture of like, if you have mental health issues, then something's wrong with you. And
Yeah.
if something's wrong with you, then are you really a Christian kind of thing? And
I saw a lot of that too, where it was like seen as some kind of sin in your life, and they would be like, yeah, I know the camera is tilting.
just noticed.
Oh, I've been noticing it. Here, I'm going to fix it, and then I will splice this together. So, I saw this a lot in my particular church community where, like, somebody would need healing, somebody would be going through something heavy, and people would huddle around, they'd pray for you, they'd lay their hands on you, like, speak in tongues, all the things. And the person, a lot of times, would just walk away the exact same. And then when that happened, it was like, whoa. And I would see sometimes when that happened where they would get more intense with it and not in a helpful way. It'd be like, what's the sin in your life? Confess it. And like just very like heavy and just like kind of beating you over the head with it. And you're just like, whoa. And then we've seen that in our life when we went through stuff with Atlas. Like some lady from a church reached out to me and was trying to tell me that we had sin in our lives and that we needed to repent so that our son could be healed. And I that that was not helpful.
No.
And there was this overall just vibe, I guess, of just people not wanting to sit with people when they were going through stuff.
yeah, so that was really frustrating to deal with when people that kind of stuff, and like the idea of um like we were dealing with this like thing with happening with our son because of
Yeah.
sin or something like that was kind of crazy to me. It's actually interesting. 19% of American Christians believe that mental health issue is or mental health issues stem from personal sin, and 21% of U.S. Christians or American Christians believe that it's a that mental health issues is actually demonic possession or oppression, which
Jeez.
is kind of crazy to me that it's that high within the United States. And not saying that it can't be. I definitely think that I mean, when you look at different things within the Bible, you see some stuff where it was, like demons were cast out, and it was in a situation that would have now in today's society been considered mental health issues.
Yeah.
But do I think that means that anyone who has mental health issues has sin or demonic
Demon.
oppression? No, I don't. And we see that a lot with being able to be righted with medication or
Yeah.
other things like that. So yeah, it's interesting though. I as a whole feel like the idea that mental health issues within the church is like a shameful thing, and so unfortunately, like it carries a lot of weight in of the negative side of things um, within the church, and I just honestly think the church, especially in the U.S., could do better at as far as mental health is concerned. Like they can do better at making it something that isn't ostracized. They can do better at
Yeah.
helping to provide treatment, or and not just like well, you show up and we prayed for you, so it's treatment.
Or like
Uh,
here's this pastor who has no background with mental health or anything, and they're gonna like pretend to be an expert on it for you, even though they may not know anything.
yeah, but anyway, what I was saying is that I think that the church can do better in these areas, like in the sense of like providing actual resources for treatment, like talking to
Yeah.
therapists, and that's even something within churches too. Like there's some really good biblical counseling and biblical therapy sessions and things like that you can go to and be a part of. There's also some not so good ones. But the thing is that there are resources out there available for people, and I think people need to know that they're there more. And I think more churches need to point people to that as a solution instead of just saying, "Well, pray about it."
Yeah.
And I do think that prayer is a big proponent of mental health, but not because I think it's going to be the end all be all, like you prayed and now it's fixed. But I think part of that it comes from just like, even with therapy, part of it is getting things out. It's speaking the truth. It's getting the stuff off your heart, off your chest, and it's like you
Just
find comfort.
unloading.
Yeah, and I think that you in prayer, that's what we can do. Like whether you believe in prayer or not, for me, what prayer is a conversation with God. So it's the same thing, right? Like a conversation with a therapist or a conversation with God in prayer. It could be. So I mean, for those of you who struggle with prayer or don't pray, that's totally cool. Like I think having a conversation with a good friend, or having a conversation with a pastor, or having a conversation with a therapist, biblical or not, it doesn't matter. But having that place to be able to vent.
Yeah, having support.
Yeah, or my favorite term is to verbal vomit things. Sometimes you just need a verbal vomit and just get it out.
Yeah.
And for me, sometimes that's prayer. Like sometimes I do need to talk to other people, but sometimes for me, prayer is that way I can verbal vomit, get everything out, kind of express it, to give it to God and surrender it. But at the end of the day, whether it's in prayer to God or to a therapist or to a friend or a husband or a wife, I think um, surrendering that guardedness of like, I can't share this, and being vulnerable to say, hey, I can't handle this, is that shift, like from you can't handle it to like I can't handle it. And when you acknowledge and say I can't handle it, and you're unloading your burdens, and not like in a, okay, here's your, now these are your burdens, but being able to unload them in the sense of like trusting someone with them, I think is a very beautiful process. And I think it helps bring freedom. Now I'm not 100% going to fix everything, but I think it helps alleviate some of that shame and that fear of being alone in that struggle.
So what you were saying made me think of something I saw. I think it was yesterday, and it was an advice from an actual therapist, and they were saying when you're having a panic attack or whatever, like whatever flare up it is, to give it a name, like to be like, hey, Charlie, knock it off. And it sounds silly. Yeah, it sounds so dumb and silly. But they said something about that kind of like calms your nervous system down. So that kind of made me think of what I saw the other day, and they were talking about how it actually weirdly does work, even though you feel silly. Like you're like, Charlie, we don't have time for you today.
Just name your depression, name your anxiety.
Yeah, just have like a whole family of negativity.
Mental health disorders.
Yeah.
There's a trick to that, apparently.
I also think a lot of times within the church, they see mental health as not real too.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like there's so many things. They either can see it as demonic, sinful, like you've like chosen to sin by being depressed or something weird,
yeah.
Or it's like it's not real, and it's like you're just buying into the world, and it's like, what do you mean? I'm just buying into the world.
Almost like this, like, oh, it's the woke agenda to be,
yeah, or it's like you're becoming worldly, and like in my case, and I know a lot of people that would fit in this category. Mine is very chemical, so like as soon as I got on the right medication, it was a huge game changer, and I just felt like a human being again. And it doesn't mean I don't have like a hard day, or like today I had a hard day. And it's not like I don't have any of that, but I just am able to deal with it. And because it's just a weird chemical imbalance. And so there's so many people like that. And if you have the mentality that it's not real or that it's demonic or any of those things that are harmful, that can really contribute to the mental health issue. And for me, like, it wasn't until I stepped away from all of that, all of those messages that I was hearing regularly, because I would hear every week, I would hear, like, you're this wretch, or like I've shared before, like, you're this terrible person, because it was very Calvinistic too. And they were like, you're like not going to make it into heaven. Only like 100,000 people are. And I was like, that's so weird. Why would it be so limited? But that's what I was taught. So I'm getting this message fed to me regularly. I'm an adolescent, like teenager, young adult person, and I'm trying to struggle big emotions or trying to go through big emotions that I don't understand. And I'm not given the tools to understand them. And so that's not healthy or helpful at all. Because that person grows up to be an adult, and then they still don't have those tools.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, you just get rid of the demons. Pray it away, as they say.
Pray it away.
And I think there's, like, you and I have seen it in the different like ministries that we've served in. Like we've seen somebody have a kind of, I guess you could say, a mental breakdown. I'm talking about like when we lived on the East Coast. Mm. And the church kind of, it's like they were allergic to it. They just kind of either stayed away or they said things that were the worst things to say. And it was heartbreaking. And we kind of jokingly were like, we almost need like a class where we can teach people how to sit in the uncomfortable heaviness. It's just weird.
Yeah. So there's like two things really quick about that.
Yeah.
So like one, the way we witnessed the church deal with mental illness, the problem with that, I think the way that the church tried to handle it there and when we were on the East Coast was, it was like this, okay, well, we prayed about it. So why isn't it better? Why aren't you? And then it was like, so it's your fault because it hasn't gotten better. You haven't surrendered enough, or you haven't enough faith to know that God can take it. So why are you doubting? And it was like this like shame thing. Yeah. And it's like, and that kind of just made me turn and feel like, shame on you, church, for like, like shame on you.
Shame on you.
But realistically, like, like, not to get like super biblical or anything, but there's like cases in the Bible where you see things where people prayed for things for years before they came to fruition. So why is it that we now in the 21st century feel like we prayed once for something and it's just going to happen? If it doesn't happen, then it's a no. It's like, to me, that's ridiculous. Like, prayer is something that is a connection point for God. Like I said, for us to have a conversation with him, to take things to him, to request things of him. And whether you're in prayer or not in prayer, or it's for you or not for you, that's whatever. But like, just from my experience, that's what it is. And if you're taking something and asking a friend for something, and they're not instantly able to drop everything and help you right now, it doesn't mean you terminate your friendship. It also
Yeah.
doesn't mean you just give up on your project and go, well, I guess that's never
You're
happening.
like, it's cursed now,
Yeah.
it's of sin, and you're like, what?
Yeah, no. And no, you keep asking for help and you keep trying to work things out until you find the time that you guys can get together and do it, and then you work on whatever project. And so like that's kind of for me, it's the same thing. Like pray about it until you see answers. Or you get a definitive no. And that's
Yeah.
okay either way. And you can pray for something your whole life and never get an answer for it like that you think of, and that's still okay. I don't think it's a
Yeah.
bad thing.
I think that gets really shamed too, because you'll see somebody, they're distraught and they're just like weeping and having the hardest time, and maybe they prayed for something for years, and then you have a lot of church people go like, oh, you just don't have the
Yeah.
faith, and it's like, stop.
The other thing I wanted to talk about earlier with that story too, and it's something that really bothers me within the church as a whole itself too. And the thing I think, and what I mean by that is, I think it's a very underwhelming presence in the church is the ministry of presence. And we've talked about that before too, but also not even that, but just like the idea of like, um, whether it's a ministry thing or not, I don't really. That's not what I'm getting at. But I just have always heard it called that. It's called the ministry of presence. And it's just being there for people,
Yeah.
and it's not being there to tell them like you did something wrong or you did something right or you need to do this different or you need to do no. It's just literally being present for someone in the midst of a hurt.
Yeah.
It's literally sitting with someone as they cry. It's hugging them while they're hurting. It's just being able to listen without trying to tell someone the wrong or correct them. It's being present with someone in their hurt and just a lot of times being quiet and just being there. And I know for myself, like the when people step into my life and meet me in those hardship moments, and they just sit with me, and they don't try to fix me, or they don't try to like push an agenda or anything like that, but they're just present and they're willing to listen
Yeah.
and not try to correct my theology or correct my feelings or anything like that. But just they're present, like that's the biggest like unload of burden from my soul, from my heart, and from my mentality and my mental health. So like for me, like yeah, meant like, and I don't know, there's probably a better way to say it, but I've always just called it the ministry of presence or just being present. I guess that's the biggest thing I think you can do to people for people who have mental health issues, and simply as just being present in their life.
Well,
Like
I think why that's so hard is because, like, a lot of times people, they'll come to God and they'll be in the church setting, and then you're like, okay, the bad stuff is behind us. And they'll say that, like, Christianity is still hard. Like, they'll tell you that, and they'll go out of their way to say that. And they'll be like, it's not easy. It's never going to be perfect. They'll say all the right things. But then when somebody is going through something, like maybe they've lost a loved one, maybe they're super depressed and suicidal or something really heavy, and then that's when it's tested. And it's like the whole mentality of like, we went through something hard, then we have God now, and so all that's behind us. It's like they're almost afraid to feel anything too dark or too what they may consider to be dark, because it almost like it's like a fear thing where it's like we're going back to this, and I don't think it's something they even realize. I think it's just like this subconscious, like, oh no. So it's like almost this allergy to suffering and to just feeling something that may not be comfortable or happy.
yeah, it's kind of crazy.
And I think still, like, just feeling your feelings, it's a simple phrase, but it's important. And even just feeling other people's feelings, like if they're confiding in you and they're like, I'm going through something, like, don't just try and brush it off because you're uncomfortable. Try and sit with it and
Yeah.
be someone there.
I think feelings are really important because I think okay, one, you need to acknowledge your feelings.
Yeah.
Two, you need to acknowledge other people's feelings. And three, you have to know that your feelings shouldn't dictate your life.
Yeah.
Like they're important because they're like your feelings and your emotions are there to pinpoint and direct you to see things or to experience things or to find understanding. And so they're extremely important and shouldn't be ignored. And other people's feelings, it's the same thing. Like that's how they're processing things. And so it is extremely vital that you allow other people to feel their feelings. But I think that sometimes because we acknowledge feelings, we say that that should run our life. And it's so hard to like say that that's a good idea because our emotions change so rapidly. Our feelings change so rapidly sometimes because of like the situation we're in, our environment, the people we're surrounded by, the weather,
The
the
weather,
moon. You think
the
I'm joking? No, I'm
moon.
not. I'm
I know
not joking.
I know you're
But
not joking. It just sounds
I
funny.
know it does.
The moon has changed, so I have
I'm
changed.
super new age
I
now. I'm
drink the moon
super career.
water.
So yeah, I've recharged my crystals in the moon. Anyway, my whole point of what I'm saying is now gone because you made a joke
Well, like
at
you,
the expense of
well, like
like a
we
lot of
should
people.
feel our feelings, but you were
Yeah.
also talking about the danger of maybe being run
Oh
by your
yeah.
feelings, which you shouldn't let them just control you entirely. But it's not something where your feelings are evil, like how some people kind of
No.
act.
You're like I said, your feelings aren't evil. They're extremely important, and I
Yeah.
think they're vital. But I also just it's as a warning, like do not let your feelings or your emotions run your life. That camera, I just noticed, has turned so much since we started talking. People are gonna be like turning their head
Yeah,
out,
they're gonna
like
be like,
watching
especially if
this
they're on their
podcast.
phone, they're gonna be like,
Yeah,
"What's going on?" We don't know. I tried to tighten it, but it kept going like this.
yeah, it's weird. Anyway, your
Don't get.
feelings. I've been trying to say this like 6 times. Your feelings are important, but don't let them dictate your life or rule your life. Like they are not facts. They are not things that are reliable. Like they are reliable to point you in a direction to find balance in your life, but they are not. Uh, you cannot trust your emotions to be facts. It's just what it is.
Well, I think we all know somebody. I'm not. I'm not trying. So I think everybody knows one person in their life who they make very irrational, flippant decisions based on feelings, and like those people are usually very unstable and
Volatile.
kind of scary to be honest, because they'll be like, "I just quit my job. I just did this," and you're just like, "Whoa, please! Like I care about you, so please slow down."
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're trying to get at. Like, yes, feel your feelings. They're very important. They pinpoint what's going on. Like, if we ignore them, that's not healthy. And that's just stuffing stuff down. And it becomes like a soda that you've shaken up and just explodes one day. So that's
Yeah.
not great. But also on the other side of that, don't just be like, I felt something today. I'm going to run and go do it. I'm going to jump and I'm going to jump into the ocean and I don't care. Like, don't like be so unhinged that you're just like, there's no rules or something. Like, there has to be a balance, I think, is what we're getting at. Just like the camera, there has to be a balance. And
Thank,
right now, it's not.
thank you for women-splaining
Yeah,
my own words back to me.
yeah. I think what you're trying to say.
I know. I was laughing so hard as I was thinking about it. I was like, man, this sounds like you're trying to mansplain things. And then I was like, oh my gosh. And I'm like,
Who wears the pants in this relationship?
well, no, it just made me laugh. I was like, wow, like, it's so bad when people like, oh, you've said this. Let me reiterate what you said, almost word for word, but I'm going to change keywords to make it sound more like acceptable. And I was like, I feel like that's happening to me right now. She's like re-saying my things, using my same words like balance and other things like that. And like, and I was just laughing. I was like, oh, is this what it feels like?
Yeah,
No.
it is what it feels like. Now you know.
Oh my gosh.
You're not a woman, so you don't
I know.
know.
Apparently, I don't know how to woman-splain.
Yeah, I mean, this is how it is.
Just kidding.
Did you know that Taco Bell now has a Baja Blast pie?
No,
It
but
sounds disgusting and it looks disgusting.
I don't know where this came from, but that sounds like an abomination.
Yeah.
That's a hard left turn from this whole conversation, though. It's like,
I really wanted to talk to you about that.
okay, but it was the most unnatural way to bring that up in conversation.
I've been thinking about it all day.
Do you know McDonald's sells birthday cakes?
That sounds gross.
Apparently, they're really good.
Oh.
Yeah, they keep them like frozen, and then you buy them and then defrost them and hand them to you. It's like $20 or something like that.
Is this a new thing?
No, it's been like for years. You ever forget your birthday cake? McDonald's. No, I've heard people who have from people who've gone to test this theory, and yes, you can, and it's actually a really good cake.
That's so weird.
Yeah. But now you can go to McDonald's and get you a birthday cake, and
Get
then go
me a
to
birthday cake?
and then go to Taco Bell and get yourself a birthday pie,
Yeah.
a Baja Blast birthday pie.
Apparently people are saying the taste is like a key lime pie, but with Baja taste.
It's weird.
Yeah, and the center of it is like this unnatural teal color with like the little
Well, it's probably the
edges.
Baja Blast color. But
Yeah.
we should probably get back on the topic and
Yeah.
or end this podcast instead of continuing to.
Is there anything else you want to talk about?
I'm trying to remember. Like, I feel like we've covered most of the things. Church, do better. People, do better. Christians, do better.
Taco Bell, do better.
I'm not adding it to my list. But all around, and do better. Do better. We all have to do better, I think, at accepting and loving and being present for people who are in the midst of mental health.
Yeah.
I think depression will tell you to isolate. This is the worst thing you can do is when you are depressed to isolate yourself. But everything in you when you're depressed does not want to be around company.
Yeah.
It does. Like, all of your depression will make you want to isolate. But do not isolate yourself in the midst of depression. It will only drive you deeper into depression. I don't know how many times I've had that conversation with people, and it drives me crazy.
Yeah.
But and I understand it, because when I'm depressed, I don't want to be around people. I want to isolate.
Yeah,
and
which is the opposite of you.
and it's okay to take some time for yourself. If you are depressed and you're struggling, it is 100% okay to take some time for you to process things and to go through that. Like that, I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. That's not what I'm saying. But once you've taken time to like process and do those things, put yourself in the company of one or more people. Do not continue to self-isolate, because you will just continue to spiral.
Yeah.
I love you. Like, it doesn't matter who you are. I want you to know this. I love you. I find value in your life, and I find value in you as a person, exactly who you are. You don't need to change who you are or anything about that, but I want you to know that you are loved and valued. And if you ever need to reach out and talk to someone, I'm available. However you can figure out how to reach out to us, like comment on this video, whatever, and I'll find a way to reach out to you, and we'll connect. I don't want anyone to ever feel like that they're having to do this alone, this life alone, or anything like that. And I might not be your cup of tea, and that's okay. Find someone who is, but please do not feel like you ever have to go through this life alone. Do not ever feel like you are stuck being alone or isolated or anything like that. But please reach out, seek help. People love you, and I just want people to know. I want you to know that you are enough, exactly who you are.
That's really awesome. Yeah, I also think because for all the people.
Close it out.
For all of the people who have been told in churches or made to feel in churches that your feelings are evil, or that you are evil, or you are wrong, or any of those unhelpful things that only fuel the mental health fire, I just want you to know that you have value, just like what you said. We care about you. I made a whole community of people because I just wanted people to find each other and connect and to love on each other. And I think we need more of that in this world. And so that is a goal of ours too, just with this podcast, to try and help people have some kind of joy in their life, maybe some kind of bright spot in their day, and hope that this episode was part of that, and that you get more connections with other people to do the same for them. So with that, this is the end of this episode.
Do better.
Bye.